Welcome to this Apprenticing Jesus, the Journey to Transformation adventure. I'm excited to be with you in this and looking forward to spending the next 8-9 weeks together diving into some really exciting things that can make a big difference in your life if you just dive in and try them on. So, my name is Chris Kyle, and this is one of the things I'm most passionate about, which is how can we live and apply the things that God has invited us to apply, and Jesus showed us how to live such that it creates sustainable, genuine, transformational growth in our lives. That's easier said than done, but we're really going to dive into it, and we're going to learn from the Master. So Jesus, in the Gospels, said that he would show us the way. He would show us the way in life. And he's now taking students in the master class of life, which he's been doing ever since he was here on earth. So we're going to learn and study what it is that he has shown us and encouraged us to do and practice so that we can be followers of him and have the life that he promised. Now, this study is not about book learning. Just learning things and understanding principles won't get you there. So this is about life learning. It's not about mastering ideology. It's about learning practices and disciplines on a regular, daily living way. It's not about being right. It's not about learning more so I can be more right than the next guy. It's about embracing goodness and awakening to the life that God has for us. So here's how this curriculum is going to work. You'll read a chapter a week on your own. And the chapters, there's a lot of meat in the chapters in this study. So just be aware of that. Give yourself some time to read and study and consider what's in the chapter. And the plan was for you to be able to already read the preface and introduction prior to this session. But if you haven't read them yet, that's not a problem. You can just read them and catch up. But those are important because they set the foundation, the context for how you can get the most out of the entire study. And then today I'm going to discuss some of the high points from the preface and the introduction. And then also I'm going to review some of the things that you'll be getting into in chapter 1, which you'll be reading in this coming week. And we'll spend a few minutes video each time, and then in your small group, this is generally done in a small group, then you'll have a chance to discuss what you're noticing, the challenges you're facing, what you're learning, what's opening up for you, what you're discovering, and you'll have an opportunity to support each other in that. So these weekly meetings in your small group are a critical part of the growth dynamic that's available. And again, I just want to emphasize, this is not about learning something else. This is about practicing the disciplines that Jesus unfolded in the Gospels, that he said life was about, that will make a difference where the rubber meets the road in your life, in your relationships, in your attitudes, in your habits, in the areas where you get stuck, in the areas that you get disappointed. All those things we're going to take on over the next little over 2 months. So, what does it take to be a disciple of Jesus? That word disciple is kicked around all over the place. It's got a lot of baggage and historical varied understandings and explanations. But what does it really take? There's a lot of different opinions about that. But we're going to go straight to his words to figure that out. We're going to take it straight from his mouth as to what the priorities are in being his follower. And this introduction that you've read, or if you haven't, you'll get to read, the introduction to the course is about how you can get the most out of this for the next 8 weeks. And the bottom line for how to get the most out of it is vision. You know, in Proverbs it talks about without vision, people wander aimlessly. Vision is what will give you the clarity and the purposefulness and the intentionality to be able to hang in and do the work that's involved in this course. And it's not like it's a killer amount of work. You're going to read a chapter, maybe that's an hour a week, and then you're going to spend a few minutes a day practicing these disciplines. But it's really in the reflecting on what you're noticing and what's opening up and the willingness to take an open and honest look at what's wanted and needed in your life to be able to advance it forward to the vision that you say you have in life. But the first part of that is to get clear about the vision. So one of the things that you want to do is just kind of get into a simple, pragmatic vision for what you want to take on over the next 8 weeks in your life. What's the new ground that you want to take? What are the key attitudes and areas of your life that you want to improve? What areas and habits are getting in the way of you being who you want to be that you would like to break through? What key relationships do you have that aren't working the way that you desire and you'd like to reinvent what you see possible and take new ground in those relationships? Pick specific areas, just a few specific areas that are the most important to you right now, and focus on those. And everything that we get into, think about it within the context of how you're going to apply it to those specific areas in your life. That's how you're going to get the most value out of this time that we're going to be spending together over the next couple months. Also, a huge part of this is your group discussions that you're going to have. And your group discussion today can include each of you declaring what vision you have. And if you're not clear, talk it out. Coach each other. Help each other get clear about the vision, a couple of key areas of life that really matter to you. Also, this is a chance to be open and be honest. And keep confidentiality within your group. What people share in the group stays in the group. So you can have a place to be able to know that you're going to talk about these things with each other and support each other, but it isn't going to go anywhere else. And think about the areas of your life that you desire to improve. And then you'll be able to interpret everything that you read and do in this study through the prism of your vision that you're declaring. Now, right after the introduction, I'm going to have in your book, there's 2 reflective pieces that will help you get started on that. And so just go through those. Just do what it says, and it'll help you get clear about it if you're not currently clear about your vision. And here's how you can get the most out of this once you get clear about your vision. 2 words: full participation. And that's really simple. That means do the work. If you do the work, this will work for you. If you don't do the work, you'll get what you get. So read the chapters each week and do the daily spiritual practices and disciplines. That's critical. I cannot emphasize that more. For most of you, for many of you, these will be new things for you that you're trying on. And you'll be carving out a few minutes a day out of your life to try them on. And you'll be wondering whether you're doing them right and doing them well and whether it's working and why am I doing this. I'm going to ask you just to try these on for the next 8-9 weeks, these daily practices and disciplines. They're incredibly life-changing. And honestly, I don't believe that you can build a lifestyle of sustainable transformation without these spiritual disciplines being a part of your daily life that we're talking about. So I'm just asking you to do your best and try them on. And then in your group, the other part of this, you read the chapter, do the daily studies, and then in your group, participate, be open, be honest, challenge each other, champion each other. Do what you can to be in each other's lives, to practice what it means to be an authentic community. So that's how you're going to be able to get the most out of this. And that's what I mean when I say full participation. So the first chapter of this study, which is after the preface and introduction, is called Beginning Steps as an Apprentice. And in this chapter, we're going to get into what Jesus consistently said when he was here on earth to people when he was introducing his plan for life to them. People came, they wanted to listen to what he had to say, and it's amazing how consistently he said the same thing. And we're going to really cover that first step that he said to take. So this week we start with the first steps right out of the gate that Jesus calls us into in this wild ride that we call life. We're also in this chapter 1 going to introduce spiritual disciplines of silence and solitude. When it comes to transformational living, the spiritual disciplines that Jesus lived and practiced and embodied are absolutely critical. And in my experience, not many people at all practice these disciplines. Some people have morning devotions, quiet time, but I'm talking about something different than that. I'm talking about actual spiritual disciplines that were a part of the church for thousands of years, but have been lost in the last several hundred years over the development of modernity and are making a bit of a comeback now. But still, I think there's a lot to be embraced with these, and they will really make a big difference for you. So that's a big emphasis for us in the study. As I said, this is about practices. We're going to get the right orientation with which to practice. We're going to learn what Jesus says about it, and then we're going to practice the things that create growth in our life. Simply put, I don't think genuine, sustainable transformation is possible without embracing the contemplative spiritual disciplines. I'm just asking you to think about that, to try that on. You don't have to buy it, but I'm asking you to just practice for 8 weeks. This will give you a chance to try them on. And if you haven't already, and if you already practice these, this will be a chance for you to take a deeper dive and to go even deeper with them. And doing it in community, as I mentioned, is such a huge key. This is a chance to deeply connect with your small group. So I encourage you to just go for it. Show up to the meetings. Come to the meetings. Don't let the time get squeezed out, and make the most of your time together. That's all I have for you. Enjoy your time together in your group, declaring your visions, talking about your visions, and supporting each other. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.